Danganronpa, or Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, is where Ace Attorney meets prison school and deathtrap in this sort of stylized persona Japanese-ish environment. It's a, what do you call this thing? It's it's a visual novel, it's a puzzle game in some regards, and it's also a rhythm game, if that makes any sense. So the premise is there's this ultimate average guy, or ultimate lucky guy, who gets chosen to attend this prestigious secondary school called Hope's Peak, where upon graduation you're guaranteed an awesome life because of how prestigious the school is, apparently. But they only take in the ultimate people, or the ultimate students of whatever discipline. Which automatically doesn't make too much sense, because then you'd only have one person from one city or from the country, and then you just have maybe 20 students, 30 students of each category. Anyway, upon entering the hall, our main character gets knocked out, and we find out everyone else who also attended the first day of school gets knocked out, and they're all sort of lost within the school, and they all find themselves in the auditorium. So here we have an eccentric group of people, which is good for a murder mystery. You have to have eccentric, diverse people so you could pick apart individual elements and properties of their personality and their life. So you have like the ultimate morals guy, the ultimate writer, the ultimate pop talent. I don't know exactly if there's like maybe music and dance in a post-secondary or a secondary school. There's a baseball player, so that makes some sense. Fanfic creator, I guess it's the same as the writer person. They'd want a literature person as well. The ultimate swimming pro, again, sports. Ultimate programmer, okay, it's more of a trade school, but same idea. Then there's the mysterious girl. We don't know what she's doing there. Ooh. The ultimate fashionista, again, very specific school or academic study, more of a trade. So very diverse school so far. Then there's the ultimate biker gang leader. The ultimate martial artist. Okay, maybe it's a big sport as well in Japan or Asia that you get a scholarship or something to be a martial artist. Same with sports. Okay. The ultimate affluent prodigy, who is just a rich guy who owns a lot of businesses. So he's inheriting wealth, but he's apparently also very good at business. So business college, maybe. Ultimate clairvoyant. And the ultimate gambler, who of course is a gothic Lolita-looking chick, who has a German name, who's actually Japanese. It's like, she's never lost a hand. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. So immediately the premise of the story is just gone. It's just forget about it. Aside from having only one student in each category, the school has ridiculous disciplines that you don't even know how the heck they're going to teach anyone. How does a school system have a biker gang? Or like what? Why would you want a biker gang leader? Are they going to unite the biker gangs when they graduate? I don't know. So already they're eccentric, but then they add on top the anime manga stereotypes. So crazy hair, the fashionistas. She's kind of ganguro style. All these weird hairstyles and colors and bright hair. So when you're talking about murder mysteries, let's, for example, and then there were none, where you have dwindling number of people. Cards on the Table is a big one, where they have these eccentric people all within one room. There's 4 detectives and 4 possible murderers or would-be murderers who might have murdered in the past. Those are both Agatha Christie stories, by the way. You need to have that level of eccentricity to figure out what person might have done what. So that's totally fine. Like, you need that. If you don't have eccentric people and you have, like, say 5 candidates that could be murderers, you really need to latch on to something individual about these people, personality-wise, vocation, language, whatever, to figure what the hell they're doing. They could potentially be more likely than the other. And then in walks the tiny talking mechanical bear. just listen to this theme song and tell me whether or not you like or dislike this character.
It's Headmaster!
He says we're supposed to be the hope of the world, meaning the individual people are the hope of the world. Now, to me that sounds like there's a TV show called The Pretender where there was a center called The Center, and they would exploit geniuses' talents for profit. So in this regard, you're thinking, oh, okay, maybe they're exploiting each of these people in a very harsh environment to make their talents be even brighter. That makes sense. So it doesn't matter if they're a biker gang leader, their talents will get better somehow. I don't know. But because it's a death trap, then you'd be killing off suspects or talent. And what? Anyway, it's just a big death trap story. So there are apparently some rules here, as there usually are in death games Japanese stories have. So if you kill someone and get away with it, you can escape the school. Now that doesn't make too much sense, because once you kill someone and no one can figure out it's you, and then you leave, well then they figure out it's you because you're the only one who left. So already that doesn't make any sense. Then there's weird rules, like all the girls have locks on their bathrooms. The boys don't. Past 10 o'clock, the water in your bathroom doesn't work anymore. And that's completely stupid. And the only reason I can understand why it's there is because the first murder mystery you have, those elements are brought up to prove that something or some such didn't happen, or some implication to imply you're the murderer or whatnot gets tossed out the door. That's the only reason I could see. So it's just this level of logic that's contrived upon contrivance, which makes everything stupid. Then there's actual stupid choices made by the characters there, like switching rooms and switching the nameplates on rooms as if you didn't know, who the first nameplate was, and then the next day it changed. Well, why did that happen? How did that happen? Gee, I wasn't paying attention. Like dumb things like that they don't even bring up, that are completely obvious. So it's not really a successful murder mystery story simulation death trap scene because of all these inconsistencies just on the premise, not necessarily with the details of the gameplay. Speaking about gameplay, there has to be a trial. So someone kills someone, everyone tries to collect evidence, and then you have a trial. Now there's rules for the trial. If I accuse someone of a murder and I'm successful, the murderer dies. If I fail, I die. And I think everyone else dies. The reason why I don't know if that's true, because that would be game over for you. So there's no actual evidence, but I mean, it's just, what is the point? What is the point of this whole expensive, completely impossible scenario? With 14 suspects. I mean, it's one person dies and then everyone else dies, or just another person dies. So you already have two gone if you're successful. And that's how the story progresses. So the gameplay is you have a perspective of first person in 3D world, and you have a reticule, and you can move forward and backward, and you can click on things and it'll pop up dialogue or monologue or what have you. The 2D characters are sprites, and they follow the camera wherever you spin or rotate, kind of like Doom. Yeah, that's about it. That's the extent of the technical aspect of the gameplay. Now the dialogue system is where it all really is, and there's a react mode or a reaction mode, because they have to spell it differently because they're Japanese for some reason. And you can then bring up a highlighted phrase or word and talk about that topic more. So that's just for dialogue. Then there's something called free roam or free mode, where you can actually explore and collect clues and talk to people, and time goes by. And that's on top of a very similar, not exactly like Persona with its social links, but you build up trust and what have you with others. Now within the gameplay, there's these 4 other methods they're like mini games. And I don't know why they're here. One of them is obviously needed, where you actually explain the crime, but there's 3 others, which, okay, they're called Non-Stop Debate, Hangman's Gambit, Bullet Time Battle, and Closing Argument. Okay, so Non-Stop Debate is essentially You're waiting for like a yellow word or phrase to pop up in dialogue when everyone's talking, and you could shoot a metaphorical truth bullet, and then you could like stop the debate and bring up a point that is in contention, and that will increase your influence meter. It's the whole point of this, is just to increase your influence meter so people believe what you're saying. That's it. Like that's the game. Oh, yellow, bing. Now it gets more complicated as you get more bullets. So you have to switch your revolver and point the right bullet at the right phrase. But I mean, it's just easy button. Oh, what's that? Oh, there it is. Fire a bullet. Okay, done. Then there's Hangman's Gambit, and you're basically playing Hangman in your brain with words or letters that pop up on the screen. You pick the first word or the first letter. It's like Hare, H. Wait for the A. Okay, there it is. Oh. Is this fun? Does this make any sense? Why are we? I don't know. Then there's a rhythm game where you, instead of having a roundtable discussion, you have one-on-one, and the guy just starts swearing at you. This is usually after you've accused someone, and he'll just start saying you're stupid, you're a dumbass, blah blah blah. Oh yeah, there's swearing in this. So you know how the blood is not red, it's magenta. Well, the swearing is just go crazy. Sometimes the non-fully voiced dialogue, when you talk to someone, they'll just say hi or eh or whatever, that sort of link grunt. It will just be swearing from one of the guys, like the biker gang dude. He'll just start swearing at you. That's just how he talks. So the bullet time battle is basically a rhythm game where you wait for him to talk with the music and you just hit the button. And somehow that makes him feel bad. I don't understand. The other one, which is the only important one, is called the closing argument, where you actually have a manga, so a little comic book, and you fill in one of the panels with a panel at the bottom. So then you have like, an excess of panels. It's basically you're making a puzzle or a jigsaw puzzle, and you're filling that in. That's kind of neat. I like that visual idea of a comic, and you're doing the order of the crime as it comes in. So if you're playing the Japanese version, I'm assuming this is how it is. It goes from right to left because that's how you read manga. And you put in those panels. I thought that was a nice touch, despite taking it so long to get there. Not to mention all the games beforehand are almost completely useless aside from that panel manga closing argument mini game. I thought that was actually really cool because it summarized things and made them very visual, and it makes you prove what's going on within logic. And if you have like 5 hearts, and if you make a mistake, you can go back and refill it. So really, the rest of the mini games could have been skipped. So yeah, the problem here is not the stupidity of all the games, or the futility of it all. It's the fact that everyone's talking and you're not the detective. Like, that mysterious chick, she's essentially the other detective. So you're not the smart guy. You're just the ultimate average dude. You're not super smart. You're not super deductive. So it's kind of like everyone's sort of helping you or egging you on or trying to accuse you. And it's very... Detective fiction doesn't work when there's more than one detective, okay? It just, like... It's like, oh, thank you for all those clues, other detective. Let me solve the case now. So essentially, the first murder mystery, the other detective already knows the answer, and she's just trying to help you. Like, you don't do that unless this is a game for babies or people who don't know what detective fiction is. So I would not recommend playing this game. There's obviously a bunch of sequels or translations, mobile versions of it. It's style over substance. It's actually almost all style and ridiculous character designs and silly rhythm games, and it's long. Like the first murder mystery, like the actual event when you get everyone in a round table and talk, takes over an hour. I'd say about an hour and a half just to get through. So there's lots of gameplay there. There's lots of story. There's lots of dialogue, but I don't think it's worth it. I think it's really a ridiculous way to tell a story. I bet I could teach you how to write a detective fiction story, and you could tell it much more believable, much more mysterious, and we could probably come up with our own gameplay options to make it more fun too. Unless you like shooting metaphorical bullets in a metaphorical revolver at sentences people say in an Ace Attorney style objection method. But they do have that annoying bear that you wanted to strangle. Ugh.